Welcome to episode 28 of The Brandon Holt Show, featuring returning guest Kathleen Bradley. Up, Up, and Away with Dr. Obey, the Skin I'm In Talent Agency co-founders Farrell Phelps and Sonia Graham, author of Oh Slap with Lori Gentles. Sit back and relax and enjoy the show. Now put your hands together for our host.
You're already clapping. You're already clapping. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for Houston's own internationally acclaimed two-time author and motivational speaker extraordinaire. Give it up for the host of the Brandon Holt Show. It's Brandon Holt.
Hey everybody, welcome to the 29th episode of The Brandon Holt Show. Thank all the viewers for tuning in. We have a treat in store for you. Make sure you tell your friends and family. Share the feed. Are you ready? Are you ready? Let's get the show started. Welcome, Team Brandon Holt Show. All new monthly segments from Dr. LaWanna Gladney, The L Spot with Dr. G, fitness expert John Horton, Get Fit with John, attorney Simone Redwine, Girl, Is That Legal? Bariatric surgeon Michael Green, Get Lean with Dr. Green, transplant surgeon Dr. Gateau, On Beat with Dr. G, celebrity psychiatrist Janet Taylor, 3 Minutes with Dr. J, neurosurgeon Grant Booher, Think Deep with Dr. B, and cannabinologist Up, Up, and Away with Dr. Obey.
Hello, everybody. My name is Dr. Oga, also known as Dr. Oga OB, and I am hosting a show with the Brandon Holt Show called Up, Up, and Away with Dr. Obey. I am a medical cannabinologist. That means I study cannabis for the good of humankind and to improve your health. And I want to bring your attention to the Texas Compassionate Use Program. It was introduced to Texas in 2015 and it is growing and robust. But we need more people to be involved. So if you are a patient that has one of 8 qualifying conditions, I want you to contact me or one of the other physicians a part of the Texas Compassionate Use Program. There are also medical cannabis stores popping up all over Houston. That means we're teaching you about hemp safely.
Dr. Oga Obey is an emergency medicine doctor hailing from Houston, Texas. Her new segment on The Brandon Holt Show, Up, Up, and Away with Dr. Obey, is making headlines across the world. Welcome, Dr. Obey, to The Brandon Holt Show. Welcome to the show.
Hi, everybody. Thank you, Brandon. Thanks for having me.
Great to have you. So excited about your monthly segment, Up, Up, and Away. And you came up with that name. What does that mean?
Well, I am a board-certified emergency physician, but I'm also a cannabinologist. A cannabinologist is a cannabis herbalist specialist in medicine. So we utilize cannabis as medicine. And Up, Up, and Away speaks for itself. We know what cannabis does to the body, to the mind, and to the spirit. So we are also seeking to go up and away in knowledge cannabis.
So up and away in knowledge, but not up and away in euphoria.
Well, some of us need euphoria. So yeah, so we're going to be talking about all ways of going up and away. Yes.
Dr. Obey, what is the difference between CBD and THC for our viewers?
That's an excellent question. So we all have heard about THC, and if you haven't, it is the molecule inside of the cannabis plant that gives you that high or that euphoria. You feel something. It binds to a specific receptor to cause that. CBD is the other popular cousin, which many of you may have heard of, and it does not cause that euphoria or high, and it still gives those therapeutic effects. So they're both compounds in the cannabis plant, but one gives euphoria and one does not.
And you said there's therapeutic effects to CBD. What are some of the effects?
Well, we now know with research that CBD has been well known to help patients that have seizures, patients that are developing or want to prevent the development of Alzheimer's. It is a neuroprotectant. It is also helpful in diabetes, high blood pressure, high cholesterol, uh,
Mm.
recovery from athletics and injuries, and a whole slew of a lot of other conditions.
So today or January is National CBD Month, which was first observed in 2020. And you just mentioned how CBD can help or assist with seizures from a medicinal standpoint. So if you could tell us what exactly is a seizure, what are signs of seizures, and then we'll talk about how CBD can impact the health of seizures.
Okay. So seizures are a movement disorder and they happen because of deranged or scattered electricity in the brain. So if you think about a wire that is frayed, when it goes through the black part of the wire that's not frayed, that's organized. As soon as it gets to the tips that are frayed, that's disorganized. And when seizures happen, that's when disorganized electricity in the brain is going on. And so
Mm.
some people will have different movements, some people will shout, some people will pass out because the electricity is not moving correctly. And we talk about seizures with CBD, especially because CBD is part of the cannabis system. We have an endocannabinoid system. And when things are in disarray, that means our endocannabinoid system is in disarray. And in seizures, that happens in the brain. CBD helps to put that disarray back into order so that you have decreased frequency, decreased strength of a seizure, decreased length of time of a seizure, which we know can lead to the deadly outcomes of seizures. And it can also control seizures. So if
Mm.
you're already on medication, it can help to improve that medication so that it works better.
So, are there any other examples of how CBD has helped patients, even from what you've seen?
Oh, absolutely. So I'm a marijuana doctor, proud to be called that. I'm a cannabinologist, which means I study the cannabis plant, and I'm an endocannabinologist, just like an endocrinologist or a cardiologist. So I utilize the study of that plant so that we can use it in the human body. And
Hmm.
so because of that, I've been exposed to other applications or ways that it can help. I did discuss neuroprotection, so the prevention of Alzheimer's, for example. I've also discovered with other clinicians that it's helpful to bring down your blood sugar. It is helpful to bring down your blood pressure, to bring
Mm.
down your cholesterol, to help you with weight and overeating. If you are addicted to cigarettes, it can help you with that. Because it acts in so many different categories because of the endocannabinoid system, which touches every part of the body. That's why these medications like CBD and THC are helpful in multiple applications.
Now, what are the methods of ingestion for CBD in these cases?
So CBD can be ingested just like when you think about marijuana. The most popular is smoking. Now, I don't advocate for that right away. There's also taking it in your mouth, so you can put it under your tongue. That goes in pretty quickly, or you can put it in your mouth and swallow it. There's also aerosolized, just like a nebulizer treatment for people that have asthma. There's topical, which is a very popular way. There's two types of topicals, one that absorbs and one that stays right on the skin. There's suppositories that go into the rectum for people that have prostate cancer, for
Mm.
example, and suppositories that go in the vagina. So for people that have endometriosis or fibroids. And then there's also applications that you can drop into your eyes, into your nose,
Wow.
and we're looking into injectables. So medications that can be put into your IV. Those are not available yet.
So, CBD, is this something you can purchase in just a shop off the side of the street, or do you recommend what's the best way that someone can get CBD? Like, is there a store or prescription that someone gets?
By far, the best is to link up with a medical professional, most likely a medical doctor that specializes in cannabis medicine and CBD medicine. And then they can give you a protocol to tell you exactly how much to take and the safest brands to go to. If you can't do that, I always recommend that if you're going to go to a smoke shop, if you're going to go to a dispensary, they must provide you with a certificate of analysis, which is the analysis of the product that tells you what's in it and what's not in it. If that product does not come with that, you don't need to buy it. There are too many people that are doing it the right way. So one way is to go to a doctor to help you find. The other way is to go to your own shop, demanding that you get that certificate of analysis. And then the third way is to register with the Texas Compassionate Use Program, which is the Texas's medical marijuana program. I am one of those physicians. You will consult with the physician. They will register you for the state of Texas's medical marijuana program, and you can get a high dose of CBD, low dose of THC products for your medical conditions. And there are 8 that qualify. Everyone cannot get it, but there are 8 that qualify. So there are 3 ways to get it.
Everybody, that's Up, and Away with Dr. Obey, emergency medical doctor. Dr. Obey, any final words?
Everybody, look for me on Instagram. That's DROGA_.
Come on, Doc. Throw that IG handle out there.
Yes, because I answer questions. I put up tidbits, and you can get in contact with me. We can talk about what ways you can get your medical CBD or medical marijuana.
Everybody, that's Dr. Obey. Doc, thanks for coming on the show. We will see you next month with Up, and Away with Dr. Obey. Stay tuned. We have to go to commercial. You all know we have to pay the bills. We'll be right back.
Yes, this is John Horton checking on my man Brandon Holt, going through his weight loss journey, working at your best body at 40 plus program for men. He's shredding that belly fat, increasing that lean muscle. Keep it working, man.
This is Brandon Holt, host of the Brandon Holt Show. Big shout out to Coach John Horton. I'm now 20 pounds down on the weight loss journey. No bread, no water, no sugar. 2,000 calories a day. I'm on a 30-day plan on a 2-year overall goal. Good health, peace. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for all your fans. Follow us on Instagram at Brandon Holt Show. Follow us on Facebook, Brandon Holt Show. Catch it on YouTube Live. Tuesday night, 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. The Brandon Holt Show. Peace.
Hey, I'm attorney Simone Redwine. Check me out every month on the Brandon Holt Show, where you'll see my segment, Girl, Is That Legal? You can ask me legal questions, or you can just talk legal jargon and current events.
Improve yourself today with Carol J. Nunn, licensed professional counselor, licensed sex offender treatment provider, and licensed chemical dependency counselor. She is the owner of Vast Counseling Services, offering individual, couples, group, family therapy, BWI intervention, education, mental health and alcohol, and drug assessment, sex offender treatment, parenting, anger management, and relapse prevention. Contact Vast Counseling today, 713-516-3527. My next guest is a co-founder for the Skin I'm In Modeling and Talent Agency. He's a master photographer, legendary Houston TV show host, The Farrell Phelps Show, and he is here alongside his co-founder, Sonia Graham. Help me welcome Farrell Phelps and Sonia Graham. Good evening.
Good evening, Brandon. Thank you for having us, first of all.
Great to have you. So where are you all located exactly?
Well, today we are actually in Corpus Christi on vacation, but we wouldn't cancel a Brandon Holt opportunity. So we brought our ring light, we got everything together, and we traveled with it so that we could do this interview with you, Mr. Holt.
Before we get started, Mr. Phelps, I want to tell you how grateful and indebted I am to you. When I first wrote my book 4 years ago, I'd never done a TV interview, and you gave me that opportunity. And when I was sitting across the desk listening to you investing in my product, I said, that's what I want to do one day. Wow. So to be able to return the love and support back to you and Sonia, I'm just honored to be able to invest in your brand and your product.
Oh, wow. Thank you. Thank you so much. That's awesome. I appreciate that. Thank you so much.
No problem. So let's talk about the Skin I'm In Model and Talent Agency. I'm loving the name, the Skin I'm In. Tell us about it.
Yeah, well, the Skin I'm In Model and Talent Agency was derived really from a opportunity that I had to do an interview in Germany in 2016, interviewing the Princess of Stuttgart, Germany. And while we were there, the princess, along with some of her cohorts, made a remark about the waiter who was extremely dark. And I'm a black man, so I'm a little bit offended by it. And her remark was, if it was midnight, we wouldn't be able to see him. And I thought to myself, wow, are you serious? Don't you realize you're sitting across the table from a brother, that you all have flown all the way to Germany to interview you, So it was very interesting, but it just really made me think, Brandon. I had an 18-hour flight back to the States, and all
Hmm.
I could think about was, did she just say that? You know, but it forced me also to examine how we are prejudiced against each other simply based on skin tone and the differences we have as human beings. And so I went on Facebook. I typed in, I'm looking for models, different skin tones, skin types, this, that, and the other, because I wanted to do something that would bring attention to it. As a result of that, it went global, all over the world,
Hmm.
India, Africa, everywhere, and people began to respond. As a result of that, people began to fly into Houston for me to photograph them for this project that was called The Skin I'm In. It was a huge exhibition done in the city of Houston for 2 years. Truly phenomenal, gained a worldwide recognition. And after that, we were thinking, and I always wanted to take it a step further. And Sonia and I had conversation, and then Sonia said,
basically he was already doing all the things that an agency would do except placing the models. And because there was so much more work that needs to be done with creating this awareness. And I have the business background. And I said, well, let's just go ahead and take it to the next level. And so that's when we created the Skin I'm In Model and Talent Agency. So we continue to invest in the lives, change the lives of the models,
yeah,
as well as
absolutely.
create the awareness again all over the world that it's time that we understand that the melanin of our skin doesn't define who we are, and we're all unique and beautiful people.
So in starting an agency, have you experienced any challenges that you had to overcome to get where you are?
Well, you want to take that one?
Oh boy. Wow. So we launched the agency in January of last year, and we had our first model call, which would have been February, the last week of February. And guess what? In March happened COVID. So and that's when things shut down. And as a whole, everything, that kind of stopped everything for everybody. And then for the agency, we're thriving and learning and growing as everybody. So it doesn't matter if you're a forward agency or new startup. We're all level playing ground. We all have to do things via internet and social media. So it has some challenges, but it also has some advantages that we feel for us as an agency, because we have the same exposure opportunity as the other agencies.
So what kind of talent are you looking for, and how can someone watching the show tonight say, hey, I want to align with this talent agency? What's the process?
Well, we'll give you our website information. You can go there and fill out the information for new submissions. That's for people that will be interested. And then we have a staff that actually looks over all of the people that are sent in, and we make decisions, and then we get back to those people. But to give you a better idea of what the agency is about, when we talk about the Skin I'm In, it's about acceptance and inclusion and diversity. And when we think about this, for instance, the skin type vitiligo, that's the skin condition where your pigment begins to leave your body and you begin to have white patches in different areas. Many people see it, but they're not familiar with the title or the name of what that condition is. Also, albinism, where basically your skin type is void of pigmentation and you're very light in color. Well, what we want to do, Brandon, is bring people that have vitiligo or albinism or other skin conditions to the mainstream media, just like everybody else is. We want this to be an even playing ground. We want you to be able to turn your television on and see a commercial that has someone with albinism in that television commercial, or have someone with vitiligo in that commercial, or have someone who's heavily melanated in that commercial, and representing brands just like Target or any of the other brands that are out there. So that's what we're about. We want to show the world that everybody should be included.
So if your book got into the White House, when it gets into the White House, what kind of policy do you feel the president should center based off of your book? We look at the world, racial tension, all-time high. There's hatred from one end of the continent to the next. And the Skin I'm In makes it to the White House, and they're getting ready to put a policy, a nationwide policy based off of this book. What would the policy be?
Well, I would definitely say the policy should be inclusion and diversity. That's very important. That's important for the world at large. And that's what we're beginning to see, I think, early in the Biden campaign and in his presidency. I think that he's trying to be very much diverse and inclusive in what he's doing. As you've seen, as we've witnessed, we now have not first lady, but a vice president who happens to be an African American woman. So when we talk about diversity and inclusion, that's one of the ways that it can happen. And that should be across the board for all humans. It just should be.
And
mhm.
also, when you think of inclusion and diversity, it's not just in skin tones. It's actually in, we have a category that's called adaptive. People
Right.
that have disabilities, loss of limbs, things like that. Size, we have a category that's called curvy.
Love it.
So, and then we're more than an agency. We feel we're a movement because we feel it's our responsibility to create that awareness, in a sense, to like our clients and ad agencies to say, what are you doing? Are you a responsible lead for the brands that you represent? Are you making sure that they're including talent that represents the world? Because these are people you want to walk into your client stores and purchase their merchandise, but are they represented in the brands and the advertisement that you're showing? Are you featuring these unique, amazing people?
And Farrell, with you being a master photographer, legendary in the city of Houston, Texas, and all over the world, how does that play a part into the brand, The Skin I'm In?
Oh, well, it plays a huge part because it all started from photographs,
Mm-hmm.
if that makes any sense.
Mm-hmm.
And then all the models that come through, I photograph all of those models that come through. The good thing about coming from a photography background is that I have an eye for what would work and to scout talent and to see a vision before we make it visible, so to speak. So that's the part that it plays for sure. And I'm thankful for the notoriety that was gained from the success of the project. It's played a huge part in where we are right now and what we're working toward building.
I'm really just vibing and listening to the story that you all are sharing. How do you define success from all of your experience, your entrepreneurial background, your business background? What are the keys to success? Because someone may be watching right now who wants to follow in your footsteps, not just sure how to do it.
That's a good question. I'm going to let Sonia answer that first.
I would define success as actively moving toward a goal and something you aspire to do. Because it's one thing to think about something, another thing to do it. So if you empower yourself to move in the direction of what that goal or your purpose is, then that's success. And then everything that you venture along the way is part of the process. So success is not a mere accomplishment and seeing an end. A success is also the journey.
Yeah, and I have to say ditto to that. Success is definitely that's a part of the journey. I definitely, and oftentimes when I'm asked that question, I always get a little tight-tongued on it because I always feel like, well, I don't know what that is yet. If that makes any sense, or I never feel like I've reached that because we're constantly trying to get there, wherever there is, for whatever it is that we're doing. So I think it's a constant motion, if that makes any sense. Or some people might look at what we might do and think that we're a success, but in my mind, it's really like a job to continue to move forward. Like Sonia said, toward whatever that goal is and purpose is. So success, man. Hey, we're still moving toward it.
And speaking of goals and success, what's next for the agency?
Well, we're looking forward to doing a lot of things. Unfortunately, with the COVID situation, we were really hindered because we had a lot of plans and moving forward to take this thing to the next level. But we're finding ourselves now having to modify what we had put in place. And that's what you have to do. Any business owner or any entrepreneur, there are things that are thrown in your way that are like curveballs that you have to be ready to deal with. And you have to find ways to move around those things and all that. So we're moving around some things right now, and we're modifying the way that we're going to do business simply based on the fact that COVID has taken place. And so, it's an interesting journey. Again, it's a journey, like I said, and you just never know. But we're looking to do some big things with the agency. We're looking to get some of our models in mainstream media. Also in commercials and films and things of that nature as well. So that's what we're looking forward to in the future with the agency.
Wow, that's great. Well, I want to thank you all for coming on the show tonight. How can people follow you? How can they connect with you? Instagram, Facebook, you have a YouTube channel. How can they secure a copy of the book tonight, right now? We want everybody who's watching, Mr. Phelps and Miss Sonia are going to give us how you can purchase this book. We want you to purchase it right now before this show is over. Mr. Phelps, take it away.
Okay, well, I would like to give you guys how to contact the Skin I'm In Model and Talent Agency. The website is theskiniminmodel.com. So skin, there's no hyphen, skiniminmodel.com. That's our website. On there, you can submit submissions under Get Scouted if you're interested in submitting as a talent or as a model. We'd love to look at you and give you the opportunity. You can also reach us at Skin I'm In Talent and Model Agency on Facebook, and then the Skin I'm In Model on Instagram. And then Farrell, your photography?
Yeah, my photography is really that you can go to my Facebook page. That's Farrell Phelps, Ferrell, last name Phelps, Phelps. On Facebook, you can find me there. And on Instagram, Farrell Images 84 on Instagram.
Hey, everybody, that's Farrell Phelps and Sonia Graham, co-founders of the Skin I'm In Model and Talent Agency. Thank you all so much for coming on the show.
Thank you, Brandon.
Thank you for having us, Brandon.
Now, you know what? We have to go to commercial. You know we have to pay those bills, but I promise you, stay tuned. We will be right back. Next up is the author of Oh Slap by Lori Gentles. Oh Slap is an inspirational book about making better choices. It is about leadership, self-empowerment in every aspect of life. There are so many books written about leadership. Those books focus on a leader, someone other than you, and what they need to do for others. But this book is different. It is unconventional, and it focuses on the reader as the leader, accountable for their own destiny and leading themselves. This book will not let the reader escape concept of total personality and responsibility for the outcomes in their life. The Brandon Holt Show welcomes Lori Gentles. Oh, hello, Lori.
Hello. Thanks
Welcome.
for having me.
You're very welcome. Thank you for coming on. How is it going on the West Coast?
It is good. It's a little windy today, but it's awesome.
So, Lori, are you social distancing? Where's your mask?
Well, I'm in my home, so I think I'm pretty safe. Yes. I do mask up for sure.
And you know, this book that you wrote, I can already see the name of the book on a mask. Have you thought about that yet?
I actually have, yes. But I'm really hoping that we get out of this pandemic and we can all stop wearing masks at some point.
Definitely. So let's talk about this book, Oh Slap. Now, when I read the title, I said, this is interesting. Tell us about what was your mindset, your creative concept, putting it together, and what is the book about?
So the book really is about self-leadership, self-development, self-empowerment. And I came up with the title, Oh Slap, because you know when you get a slap, it kind of stings, it wakes you up,
right?
Sobering. And so the book is really written in a tone of tough love. I'm trying to wake people up to the reality that they are in charge of their own destiny. And so many people are walking around kind of like robots, you know, we just going through our day-to-day lives, but complaining. There's a lot of negativity about what we haven't achieved, but people don't realize that they make the choices every day to stay in the status quo. So I want to kind of it's the proverbial slap across the face just to say, wake up a little bit, you know, let's get going. I have something to contribute greater than what I'm contributing now to the world.
And you have an extensive background in leadership. I was reading your bio. So what are some leadership principles that a reader can take from the book and apply?
You know what's so interesting is you're right. I do have an extensive background in leadership and in the people business, but this book really is about self-leadership. So the leadership that you probably read in my bio is really leadership in leading others. This book is about leading yourself, right? And so it's a different focus. And so really leading yourself is that you're in charge, you're in control. You don't need to wait for your supervisor, your preacher, your teacher, your parents, or anyone else that you consider to have authority over you or to lead you, you don't need to wait to get permission to be who you are and to, display your gifts and your talents to the world. So many of us are just sitting, dividing our time, waiting for somebody to tap us on the shoulder and say, okay, I'm going to promote you. And I'm saying if you want to promote yourself, right? You figure out a way to make that happen for yourself. Don't just wait.
You're your best brand promotion. Now, are people born leaders, or do you develop leadership skills?
That's an excellent question. I think that there are some people who are naturally born leaders, but obviously not everyone. So I do think you can also develop skills. It's through behavioral modification. And my book really does give you practical steps. Leadership is really about common sense, being able to make good decisions, being able to analyze, all of your circumstances and then make the best choice based upon the information that's available to you, using critical thinking skills. All of that is about leadership, and that can be learned. I think it comes easier for some people, but obviously you can learn it.
And I'm just curious, Lori, about chapter 7, your mama don't work here. You got to tell us, what does that mean?
Yeah, so I love that chapter. I mean, I love all the chapters. I try to make it fun and funny
that's fun, all right.
When I am in the workplace, a lot of the times you have grown adults, employees that really have this sense of entitlement. And they feel like the leader, the boss, owes them certain things, including being responsible for their level of happiness, being responsible for their growth and development. And yes, there is an element where in a workplace, you need to foster an environment where people can grow and develop. But at the end of the day, your supervisor is not responsible for your financial well-being, your health and wellness, your level of happiness, right? And don't get me wrong, I like to, I really need to pause and explain this. I am not saying that an employer and an organization and a leader doesn't have responsibility for its employees. What I'm saying is that the employee also has responsibility for him or herself and their financial wealth and health, well-being, and et cetera, et cetera. So your mother doesn't work here means this is not, your mom may cater to you. She may, do all of these things, but the workplace is not a surrogate parent relationship.
Lori, what are your thoughts on the inauguration that happened a couple of days ago? You had a transfer of one leadership style. You have another leadership style coming in. What are your thoughts? How could your book, if it was in the White House, impact the White House in a way that the world has never seen before?
Wow, that is an awesome question. First of all, I was very excited about the inauguration, obviously, as everyone else was, with this transfer of power and focus now more on unity and healing of our nation, which I really think needs to happen. I think that my book also gives just practical, universal lessons for everyone about not blaming. The book is about don't blame anyone for your plight in life, and even don't blame the president. Don't blame your parents. Don't blame, one party against the other. Let's make choices that are best for you as an individual and best for the community that you serve. So I do think that the book has some relevancy in what the administration will be trying to do.
And do you think that people blame to justify behavior or to justify poor decisions? Do they blame it on, like you said, a mother or father, their upbringing, just to kind of take themselves off the hook?
I do, because it's hard work to look at yourself in the mirror. It's hard work to be exposed, that maybe it's you that did something or didn't do something that you could have or should have done. And it's hard to take that responsibility. And it's just the path of least resistance to blame. And so this book, and I talk about it at the very beginning of the chapters, I talk about this is going to be hard. You need to be willing to do the work, to do some real self-reflection and say, you know what? Everywhere I've been, every job I've taken, I've always run into problems. Why is that? Well, who's the person, the common denominator? It's you. And so you can't escape you. And so I'm helping people deal with themselves versus trying to control others.
And I noticed that you've had some great accomplishments. You've spoken overseas in Asia and other countries. Are you speaking the same message, or does your message of leadership, does it change depending on the cultural environment of where you are?
It doesn't change. It's a consistent message that I truly believe in. I may, moderate how I say it, depending on the audience and the culture, et cetera, but the message is still the same, because at the end of the day, we're all human, we're all individuals, and we all have choices. And that's what the book is about you have a choice, I have a choice, and those choices yield reward or consequence. And intelligent choices, in the book, you'll see that I've coined a phrase called I choice.
I saw that.
Yeah,
Right.
It stands for intelligent, intentional, inspired, individual choice.
Awesome.
And you break all of those down, and that's what I want to instill in others. And when you do that, you're empowered. Don't do that. When your choice is not your individual choice, but someone else's, you're disempowered.
So what's great about being Lori Gentles?
Oh, goodness. What's great about being Lori Gentles? I think that one of the things that I can say about being who I am is that I think I have a great perspective, on life, and that will show in the book. I say that perspective is a choice, but a positive perspective is a gift. And so I think I have a positive perspective. I'm always looking for the possibilities, right? I don't want to get stuck. And I don't want to ever feel like there's not a move that I can make, even as simple or as microscopic as it might be. Even those microscopic moves over time are compounded. And, you look back and it's like, wow, I didn't realize how far I came. And so inch by inch, you grow. You don't have to wait for big sweeping changes. Make small moves, and small steps will get you there. So I think that's my perspective and my approach to life.
And I like your optimism. You're very optimistic. Your steps are calculated. All right, Lori, tell us, what can the world expect in 2021? You have this book. It's blowing up. What's coming next with you?
I am getting such good feedback from the book. People are saying you need to write this for people that are children, younger. They don't have to wait 20 and 30 years and 40 years down the line before they start making intelligent choices for themselves. So looking at that, how can I modify the book for younger children to start teaching them not to be entitled, but to be empowered? Because those little children grow up and they go into the workplace and they become the people that I'm talking about in the book. So looking at other projects like that, really promoting this book, doing some workshops around the topic of iChoice, things like that. So we'll see.
And I see you, Lori, instead of selling the book, this is a book I can see, selling it, of course, but serving it, because there's so much content and skills and motivation and strategies on how to better yourself. You're actually serving people a better way of living. And I think that is just powerful and amazing. How can people secure their copy today? How can we follow you? How can we support you?
Thank you. And first, let me say, I acknowledge what you just said. Thank you for saying that, because I think that the book was a passion project. It was bringing value to the world. And when you bring value to the world, it comes back to you. So that's what I'm trying to do in serving up this message. And I will say that the book is out. It's doing well. You can grab a copy on Amazon.com.
Lori, we want an autograph copy. How do we get the signature?
If you can DM me on Instagram at WeAreIChoice. Let me know you got a copy, or I can send you a copy and autograph it for you. So we can work that out if you really want an autographed copy. So WeAreIChoice on Instagram, Amazon.com to purchase a copy, and I also have the Choices Company at thechoicescompany.com if you want to talk to me about doing a workshop or a keynote presentation or anything of that nature for your organization.
Okay. Well, everybody, this is the one and only author, Lori Gentles. The book is not called Oh Snap, but it's called Oh Slap. Make sure you go order her book online. Get it right now today. Read the book. Encourage other people to get the book as well. Lori, thank you so much for coming on the show. We're grateful to have you, and we wish the best for you.
It was my pleasure. Thank you.
And make sure you come back when the next book comes out.
I sure will. Thanks.
All right, everybody. Hey, we got to go to commercial. We have to pay those bills. We'll be right back. Welcome, Team Brandon Holt Show. All new monthly segments from Dr. LaWanna Gladney, The L Spot with Dr. G, fitness expert John Horton, Get Fit with John, attorney Simone Redwine, Girl, Is That Legal? Bariatric surgeon Michael Green, Get Lean with Dr. Green, transplant surgeon Dr. Gateau, On Beat with Dr. G, celebrity psychiatrist Janet Taylor, 3 Minutes with Dr. J, neurosurgeon Grant Booher, Think Deep with Dr. B, and cannabinologist Up, Up, and Away with Dr. Obey. You may know our final guest as Miss Parker from the classic film Friday and the first permanent African-American model on The Price is Right. She is the star of her newest movie, A Day of Trouble. The Brandon Holt Show welcomes Kathleen Bradley. Good evening, Kathleen.
Good evening, Brandon, and thank you for having me back on your show. I got a lot of great reviews from people watching the show when we did it previously.
You are very welcome. Very welcome. I'm glad you thought of us. I'm really excited for you. We're getting ready to talk about this new project that you just released. But before we talk about it, I've always wanted to know, do you watch your own films?
Of course, I watch myself as much as I can. As a matter of fact, though, not getting away from the movie, there is a website. It's called The Price is Right Models. And actually, in that movies, but there's a person there that has taken all the time to take every individual model who's ever been on The Price is Right and put a compilation of our work together. What a wonderful thing. I keep looking at this. And some of them are from way back from 10 years ago 10 years when I started up until the present day when I finished out. And what a wonderful thing. I don't have to do the work now. I don't know where they got it from, but I was looking at some of that today and I'm like, wow, I remember that.
And congratulations.
Yeah, I like to watch myself, it's cool.
Now, how many films have you starred in? And by the way, congratulations. Happy belated birthday. How many years have you been acting? How many movies have you been in?
Thank you for the birthday wish.
Yes, ma'am.
Actually, I've done quite a few. I think really the biggest one I really kind of like to boast about is the one it's called Perfume, written and directed by Dr. Roland Jefferson. And we taped and did that show. Filmed it back in 1987. Wow. And it stars Ted Lange, J.D. Hall, Eugenia Wright, Cheryl Francis Harrington, Shai Jefferson, Don Mitchell. He was in it. He played my husband. It was really great. I had actually the lead her name was Vashti. And it was called Perfume. And it right now is on YouTube if people want to see that. Perfume. Okay. Very and then, I did a little part in Harlem Nights. And I've done Troop Beverly Hills when it came out. I've done, oh my God, of course, Friday, Mrs. Parker. That is my biggest claim to fame.
Right.
And that was wonderful doing that and working with that cast and what have you. And it's taken me to bigger and better heights. And, that's what it's all about, I think, in this business. When you start doing certain movies and your body of work kind of speaks for itself, you can kind of hopefully get the next gig that's coming along and keep pushing.
And you have a new movie
business out here,
Yeah.
really, it is for actors and actresses.
And you have a new movie out, A Day of Trouble. Congratulations on your newest film. Tell us about your film.
Yes, A Day of Trouble.
Day
It
of
is out
Trouble.
right now. It's on Apple TV, also Prime Video, and it's also on Redbox and one other. But just Google it, look for it.
Google Play.
Yeah, Google Play. It is, I think. Okay, thank you. It just got released January 5th, and it's been long overdue, long awaited. But I must say, we filmed it. I keep saying filmed the movie about 2.5 years ago. And it really was a labor of love. It was a low budget movie. It's called, I think, SAG sanctioned. SAG is Screen Actors Guild. For people who don't know, that is our union that we must and supposed to work under, that protects us actors to make sure we have the right facility and right meals, the right hours, and that we're taking good care of while we're filming. And so the producers, which one of them is a young lady by the name of Shakola. She's a wonderful, beautiful Black woman. I mean, when I say Black, she's gorgeous. She's a beauty queen. She is one of the primary executive producers on this show. And when you see the movie, it will say Cola Limited, along with Mark Casey. Mark Casey has done multiple movies and written and directed movies before. He also stars in this movie as my son, Terrence. But, it was shot that long ago, and we had a soft premiere of it and over at Fox Studios to present to some of the potential distributors and buyers, because it takes a heck of a lot to do a film. And we needed to improve upon it. And the money kind of ran out, which is typical in Los Angeles and working with movies. The money kind of ran out. So we showed it in hopes of getting some investors, which it took a little time to get. And I really have to praise Shakola and Mark for not just prematurely putting the movie out when it wasn't right. We had to go back in and do some voiceovers, which we call overdubbing. They added some different scenes and they switched it around a little bit, and it came out so much better than when we saw the pre-screening. And that's what you have to do. And we are, as the actors, we were getting a little antsy and saying, hey, we need our clips. Well, can we get what we did? We need to have that so we can show it and put it on our reel, called REEL, people, our reel, so we could show it to other potential casting people of our body of work. So we finally did get our little pieces and parts of it, but I have to commend them on waiting and getting it right. Because sometimes in this business, you only have one shot when you're putting something out that's a labor of love and that you've done and worked on. They worked on it really quite a bit, and I'm very proud to be a part of this movie.
Now, without giving the film away, give us just a little tidbit of what it's about.
Okay, it does send a good message, It is about a cousin, two cousins, where one was a blood and one was a Crip. One was in prison for a while. He just got released. Who was actually Marwan Granville. Marwan Granville. He's a young, inspiring, upcoming actor, and he plays my nephew, who his mother is my good friend, Thais Walsh. I believe Thais has been on your show before. Yes. She's a wonderful actress. She plays my sister. She plays Curtis. His name is Curtis's mother. They're like the real kind of ghetto mother and son kind of people, all right? But my son, he's kind of gone straight from the Crips. So they're both actually, Curtis gets out of prison, and this is all in the trailer. Curtis gets out of prison and they go looking for a job, trying to see a job. My sister and I are like, we're so grateful God has given them another chance. You know, they used to be at odds, being Bloods and Crips. Just, I don't care if you're brother or sister. Brothers, you don't get along, you're blood. Right. Crip, you have to have, your alliance has to be with somebody, right? So they're starting to get along, and they're putting all that beside them. And then during the course of them going to look for a job, boy, that's when all the drama starts. Okay, and they rob a bank. Well, he robs a bank, Curtis, and he brings my son Terrence into play with all this drama. And it's a whole day of trouble, boy. They get into trouble, and they go places and go to the wrong house. And oh boy, it's really good. I was very proud and pleased to be a part of it. Well, like I said, it came back. They came out January 5th. I was so terribly busy with birthdays and virtual funerals and more birthdays and this, that, and the other. My husband and I, we just really had the opportunity to watch it on our big screen in the living room this last weekend. And it was awesome. I was really impressed with what they had done to clean it up, to make the sound right and everything.
And so what's next for you, Kathleen?
What's next for me? I am still just here in the home, being protective of my family because of the COVID. There are a few projects that are trying to happen and go on, but the industry has opened up and had to close back down. Now we have this variant of the COVID that's even supposed to be worse than the other. So, you know, I've always been an optimist and always have been an independent person working and doing things, and being in the acting business is very difficult. So I always inspire these young people who are out there who want to do something for themselves, you know, learn a new craft, to learn something. I do have this new opportunity, and it's epic trading. Last time I was on, I talked about the other company I was in, but this one is EPIC, and it's Forex trading. And you'll be a student. You'll learn how to do day trading with the foreign currency. And you're a student, and you refer people and come in. And I'll have it on one of my websites or something of that nature. I would love people, if you're really interested and want to make some money, do something with your life, learn a new skill.
And I would like you to
go to my website, which is KathleenBradley.tv, and you'll show that, I'm sure. And just contact me through my email and on my Instagram.
And Kathleen, I would actually like you to come back on in the near future and do a whole segment on day trading in your company and educating us. And I think that would really be great. Would you be open to that?
Oh, I would absolutely be open to that. I'm telling you. And I have some very fireball guys who are working with me, and that, you know, this business, it's a tough one. But people have to just realize, you know, it's a good opportunity. And there are so many other things out there that aren't really true and just that take people people for granted. But this one has been around for a while, and I encourage it. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. I would love to have people come work with me on my team. And we can do that as soon as you want to hook it up. I'll bring Dr. Branjon and my other guy, Jock Johnson, and everybody. And let's do it. Yeah.
Let's do it. Hey, everybody, this is Kathleen Bradley, star of A Day of Trouble. Make sure you check it out on all the platforms: Amazon Prime, Apple TV, Google Play, Redbox. One of our show favorites. Miss Bradley, thank you for coming on. We will see you soon. Thank you for tuning in to episode 29 of The Brandon Holt Show. Follow us on Instagram at Brandon Holt Show, at Brandon Holt Sr., Facebook, The Brandon Holt Show. Subscribe to our YouTube page today, The Brandon Holt Show. Until next Tuesday, be safe and have a wonderful week.